What is up, farming family? How y'all doing today? Today, we're getting into that Selkirk Power Air. This is the epic version. It's the mid-weight version. I don't really like the lightweight versions of paddles usually. I know you can slap lead weight and stuff on them, but I usually just go with middleweight. So that's what we're going to be going over today. We're going to be going over the power, the control, the spin. If it's good for singles, you're going to see some gameplay. My brother's also going to flap his lips a little bit. I hope you scallywags have been doing good and been able to play some pickleball now that it's getting warm. But let's get into the specs. This paddle is a mid-weight range of 7.7 ounces. The grip circumference is 4¼ inch. The grip is a Selkirk Geo grip. The handle length is 5¼ inch. The paddle length is 15¾ inch. The paddle width is 8 inches. The face is a hybrid blend of the fiberglass and carbon fiber. The core material is polymer honeycomb, which is polypropylene. The core thickness is 1/2 inch. And the edge guard is an edgeless Dura Edge, which means they don't have an edge guard on there, essentially. That's just the easiest way to put that. The paddle also has a hole towards the bottom that's supposed to make it more aerodynamic and easier to swing. But to be honest, I didn't feel like it made any difference or it would make any difference at all. I could understand why they would say that it would, because the hole through the middle is going to allow more airflow through. So there's not going to be as much resistance, but I don't think it's going to make enough difference to matter more than maybe a couple miles an hour. So I honestly wouldn't have probably put the hole in there at all, to be honest with you. This paddle has a flex foam perimeter, meaning it has foam injected along the outer edges of the paddle, which provides more power and more pop, obviously. Kind of like how the thermoform paddles have the foamed edge around it as well. That's also going to provide pop. When it came to the power of this paddle, I didn't feel like it was crazy uncontrollable. Now, if you would have asked me back before the Black Ace came out how I felt about this paddle, I would say this was the most powerful paddle on the market, and nothing was even close. Then the Black Ace came out, and it is a super thin paddle with a crazy amount of pop. And then when it came out, it made this paddle seem soft, like no joke. I have played with both of them for a significant amount of time. Then when I went to the Power Air after the Black Ace, it literally felt like I was playing with a 16mm soft paddle. It is drastically different. The power, though, in this paddle is extremely, poppy. Like, you get a lot of power, but it's not going to be uncontrollable. I would definitely recommend this primarily for singles, but some people will be able to play this, as doubles, but you will have to focus a lot more when it comes to dinking, resets, drops. Kind of like how you got to focus a lot more with the thermoformed foamed edge paddles that are coming out today.
Yes, I agree with my brother on this one. This paddle has definitely got a lot of pop to it, so it's super good in singles, but I would probably never use this in doubles, though.
When it came to the control, when I first started playing with this paddle, I was popping stuff up. My drives were all over the place. Like, everything was just really uncontrollable. That's because I've used a lot of raw carbon fiber paddles, and switching to this was completely different. It feels like it launches off the paddle face quicker than it does with raw carbon, so it took a while for me to learn how to control it in terms of dinks and stuff like that. But as time progressed, I got better and better at it to the point where it wasn't really a problem anymore. It's just something that you have to get used to when you first get the paddle. So if you get the paddle right out of, right in the mail, expect there to be some time, for you to get used to it and to adjust.
Yeah, I also found myself popping the ball up and hitting the ball a little too deep with it because I'm not really used to these 13mm paddles too much, but it definitely lacks a little bit in the control area.
When it comes to the spin, this is the closest paddle to the thermoform foam edge paddles that are raw carbon fiber and on the market right now. You can do your slices, your top spin drives, your top spin serves, anything you want to do is going to have a lot of spin on it. I literally did a slice today, and that thing moved like 3 feet, giving its new flooring, and the ball grips like crazy, but the ball moved like crazy whenever I did it. The dude I was playing against, I'm hoping I have footage of it, was like, dude, that was a lot of spin. I did not think I was going to be able to hit that. And I don't know how long the grit's going to last. People have obviously said that the grit wears off. Ours has deteriorated some after, a lot of use. So I guess it kind of varies depending on how much you use it and how hard you probably hit as well.
Well, I don't want to sound like a pair, but I do agree with them. The spin on these paddle is very good. It is definitely up there with the thermoformed. So if you're looking for a really high spin paddle, this thing is great.
When it came to the mobility of his paddle or maneuverability, I felt like it was super lightweight, especially considering, using all these thermoformed unibodied paddles. They feel drastically heavier than the Selkirk Power Air does. Even after I put lead tape on it, it still felt like it was a lot lighter, a lot easier to maneuver and stuff during hand battles than some of the new current paddles that are coming out on the market with the new technology. So I don't think you're going to have any problems at all when it becomes, maneuverability, when it comes to, switching, doing backhands, hand exchanges, stuff like that. It's not going to be a problem unless you've got really small wrist or, you're a pretty small person. And then I would probably go for the lightweight version. Durability, I don't think you're going to have a lot of problems with this paddle. One of the main problems with the paddle is the grit wearing off. So that is like a big warning, that I will tell people is like, well, the grit may wear off. Some people have said their grit's not really deteriorated, and some people said it has completely deteriorated. So I'm guessing it kind of depends on how the spray was put on because, there's always variances in carbon fiber and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if the same, effect is the same for their spray. Like some of them have a thicker, better grit that stays firmer on the paddle, and some has, the grit that wears off. I'm wondering if that's just sort of a manufacturing variance that you're going to get. When it comes to customization, I will put lead all the way around the Power Air for stability, and so it has a little bit more heaviness in the head. I do not like headlight paddles, and I feel like this is one of the more headlight paddles that I've used, especially since most of the paddles I've used are the carbon fiber and the thermoformed. So they're pretty heavy, in general compared to this paddle. So I would still definitely put lead tape on it. I'd slap an overgrip on that beast and call it a day. This right here is my legit only problem with this paddle. $250. It is $250. Woo, that is a pricey, chunk of money right there. A lot of people, that is like a half of a 2 weeks paycheck. Like $250. There's paddles right now on the market that are coming out $130, $140, $150, $180 that are going to be serviceable. That you're going to be able to get enough spin, you're going to be able to get enough power, enough control. Versus this, paddle, you get that stuff, but it's $250. I feel like Selkirk could cut the price down to $170 or $180, and this thing would sell like hotcakes. I mean, it already is. But it would sell crazy, crazy, crazy good. Like everybody, around you would see would be carrying one of these paddles because it's Selkirk. It's one of their high-end paddles that their pros use, and it would be below $200. Selkirk, if you're watching, you should definitely do that.
So for the price of this paddle, I do think it's a little expensive at $250, considering you can get a thermoformed paddle for $180, $150. I would definitely look into other options.
But yeah, this has been my Power Air Epic review. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to message Selkirk and see if I can get my hands on a 003 or some of their future paddles. I don't know how that's going to work. We shall see. But if you enjoyed this video and, you got something out of it, or, it adds some sort of enjoyment to your life, smack that like button. It helps me a lot. It grows my channel and pushes it to other people. And I really, really appreciate it. And if you've taken the time to watch this video all the way to this point, thank you so much. It means a lot. But y'all better get out there and play some pickleball. Stay safe. Drink plenty of water. Peace, y'all.